Hi everyone, this is Ashley with Marshflower Studio. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a little heart. Technically, this would be called an applique because you could sew it to something. I, however, make these and I'll sew two of them together and then create a little keychain with it. So there's lots of different things that you can use these for. The possibilities are endless once you have the shape figured out. These are very easy, very basic, and they do give a really nice heart shape. There are several different patterns that I've tried over the years that just don't really have the best shape when they're finished. So this one I think actually gives you a nice deep V up here at the top, and then it gives you a nice V point at the bottom. Some of them are a little too rounded, some of them it's almost flat at the top. So this is a nice, easy heart. It still gives you a good shape, and it doesn't really take any time to make these. So I've got my worsted weight yarn, my my 4mm hook, because this is part of the keychain size that I talk about. When I do keychain size things, I try to use the 4mm hook to just kind of make everything a little bit more tight. You can use any size yarn, any size needle that kind of corresponds to it, or hook, sorry. As long as you kind of match the two up, you should be able to use this pattern and come out with a cute heart. So we're going to have a magic circle. In our magic circle, we are going to do 10 double crochets. I know some people like to do a chain 1 or a chain 2 before they do double crochets. In this pattern, you don't really need to. I typically don't. So I'm just going to do my 10 double crochets right into my magic circle. 2, 3, whoops, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So then I will pull this closed, and I am going to do a slip stitch into the top of this first double crochet just to kind of close in that circle. So our next step is the second row. There's only 2 rows to this heart. We're going to do chain 2, right? And then in the same stitch where we did our slip stitch and then just did those chain 2s, we're going to do 3 treble stitches. So if you've never done a treble stitch before, it's not that much different than a double. But in a double where you would kind of yarn over once and then go through, for a treble, you're going to yarn over twice. So you've got 3 loops kind of on your hook before you go through that stitch. You're going to yarn over and pull some more back up. So you have 4 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2. So that gives you a little bit taller of a stitch out here to kind of help create that shape. So we're going to do 3 of those in this same stitch. That was the second one. Here's the third one. In the next stitch, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do 3 trebles. So 1, 2, and 3. So at this point, I'm going to do a double crochet and a half double in the very next stitch. So I'm going to do my double crochet and my half double in the same stitch there, and then I'm going to do 2 single crochets. So they're in their own separate little stitch, and then in the next stitch we're going to do a single crochet, oops, so a single, a double, and then another single, all in that same stitch. And then we're going to do 2 more just regular single crochets. So we have half of our heart up here, we've gone down to the point in the bottom, and we're working our way back up. So in our next stitch we're going to have a half double, and then a double, and those are going to stitch together, and then you're going to have 2 stitches where you're putting 3 treble crochets. So I'm going to do 3 treble crochets in this next stitch. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and then the next stitch, there's 1, 2, and 3. Now for this last part, I'm going to do just a chain 1, and then I'm going to slip stitch down into that stitch where I just worked those 3 trebles, and that brings that last little bit of a point in on this heart in that bottom of the V there at the top. So depending on your skill set, you can fasten this off. If you're going to do the double-sided keychain, which is what I'm going to do, and I'll show you how I do that in just a second, you're going to want to leave this tail on for a minute if you're putting these 2 together with slip stitches, so you don't run out of yarn. And if you're not doing a keychain, you can fasten it off, weave in your ends, and then attach it to whatever you would like to attach it to. You could turn it into a hair bow, put it on a blanket, you could sew it to a hat. There are all kinds of possibilities. So I'm going to take and put these 2 pieces together. And this is going to get a little awkward here for a minute. So I'm going to go into that kind of the chain that we made at the beginning of this first kind of bubble, and I'm going to go through both pieces. I'm going to grab some yarn and pull it back through, and then pull it through that loop on my hook. So I'm doing slip stitches through both layers, and you want to make sure that you are lining up the corresponding stitch from each piece, so that as you work your way around and work your way down to the point, you don't end up getting off track and having your points be misaligned. Okay? So make sure that you are just going through those loops for the actual stitches. You know, especially with treble stitches, sometimes it can be a little hard to figure out where they are, especially when you're working it coming at them from the back. But doing these slip stitches makes a nice clean edge to your heart here without creating any extra kind of size. And then it's not making your edges kind of lose their shape. Especially with some of these smaller applique pieces, if you add a border around the edge just to make it easier to sew, you can kind of lose your edge. I think I grabbed a little bit too much there. And even as often as I do this, I still make mistakes and mess up. Oh, we're just going to pull that one out. Try that one again, because even right now it's almost made itself a little knot here. There we go. Yeah, I grabbed one of the actual loops from that underneath piece and was trying to pull that through as my working yarn, and it did not work, as you saw. All right, start going back up this side. And I'm not going to stuff my heart, but I am going to put these other tails from my yarn down inside. And we'll just single crochet all the way back around and then fasten off and weave in that end. And this heart will be finished. Kind of back to one of those areas where it's hard to tell where you're needing to go. So through here and through here. All right, so cut that, pull this through. I will weave this in and then attach my keychain to it, and it is done and ready to go. So I've got a nice little heart shape. It is September when I'm making this video, and I know the hearts are definitely more of a popular thing to make when it's getting closer to Valentine's Day. But if you've been doing this long enough, you know that waiting until the last minute to start trying to make a bunch of something doesn't usually go well. So I make stuff for all the holidays year round just to kind of prepare in advance, and then I'm not rushing to do anything kind of last minute. So that's it for this video. Remember to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe so you can see other videos that I put out. If there is anything you would like for me to make or comments, suggestions, something you would like to see more of, pop it in the comments and I'd be more than happy to get to that. And I'll see you next time.